It's thinking about it.
I just got the notification.
Oh, cool. All right, cool. Seems to be working. That's about it. Let me mute the phone so I don't get blown up. Screen. Can you guys see that?
Yep, good to go.
If I can just find the share the record button, we'll be good. There we go. Record on this computer. All right. So we're gonna give a Reiki 101 talk. So this is me, Chris Gates. So I gave this at work. So currently I am the red team manager at Robinhood. So when you're watching this later, who knows, I switch jobs a lot, as you can see from the slide. Been doing the IT thing since 2003. Spent a bit of time in the Army, also worked in the US Army Red Team, bunch of consulting, Lares, Uber, Facebook, Cruise Automation 100X, and now currently in June 2021, I am at Robinhood. So I guess I put this on there as like I've broken into lots of things. I really self-identify as a hacker, but I really love applying all the hacker thought techniques to spirituality. It's also me. This is in my favorite place on earth in Sedona, and me, and that's my arm in the middle. And I try to show that tattoo off as literally as often as possible. So words that describe me: father, husband, friend, hacker, red teamer, purple teamer. Red and purple. Purple is like when you work with the blue team, so red and blue makes purple. Also Army vet, fancy watch lover. I have quite a few awesome Swiss watches. The more obscure, the better. Pretty picky eater at this point. I love EDM, which usually throws people for a loop. It's my favorite thing. Love hiking, love astronomy. Other words that describe me: moody asshole. I've been called all these many, many times. Egotistical, know-it-all. Grumpy professionally, which was like really my thing years ago. And I put that as old. I'm really trying to be positive professionally. And I would say like that's a work in progress at this point. It's quite a bit of work, I think, to always find the positive in situations. Also others: metaphysics, meditation, law of attraction, past life experience. Or one of my, when I was at Facebook, which should have been the highlight of my life, working at this amazing company, was probably my lowest point. I was super depressed, really just didn't want to be on this planet anymore. And that's really at that time frame was when I hit rock bottom. And part of my healing journey was doing hypnosis and experiencing my past lives, which really got me kind of on the upward swing. And in one of those hypnosis sessions, I told myself I needed to learn Reiki. And I was like, what is Reiki? And the hypnotherapist did an okay job at explaining it, but I really didn't know what it meant because it was like energy work and all that stuff was just mumbo jumbo to me at that point. But a few years later, I find myself, being a healer, being an energy worker and light worker. So here we are. So I also call myself a spiritual fitness coach and Reiki master trainer. And then for today, kind of the point of this is we're going to talk about Reiki. So all that Reiki master training stuff, and we'll get into what that means here in just a second, is coming into play. So inside Reiki and in the Reiki modalities, you have the Reiki affirmation or the Reiki prayer. And that prayer is for just for today. I will not worry. I will not be angry. I will be grateful. I will do my work honestly, and I will be kind to every living thing. And the idea is that as a Reiki student and a practitioner and someone that kind of follows that path, this is your daily prayer. And it's pretty good because you're right. You're just thinking about, I want to be grateful. I'm not going to be angry with people. I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to do everything I can to the best of my ability each day. And it's a nice reminder each day to just do your best. But what does Reiki mean? So the word Reiki means universal life energy. It comes from a Japanese word. And so I'll read a definition. So Reiki is a complementary health approach, which practitioners place their hands or just above different areas of the body. It's based on Eastern medicine belief that living beings have energy fields that support their health and vitality. And we'll get into that a little bit more. And another one from the Maryland School of Medicine, subtle healing practice for wellness at both the mind, body, and spiritual level. And works to restore balance, increase energy flow, improve sleep and relieve pain, and stress reduction, and all these other things. And so I have, after hundreds of sessions, have seen that this does have that effect on people, and more, just depends on the person. So who really started it is Dr. Usui. So in approximately like 1922, he was a monk, and then through one of his retreats, he did like a 21-day retreat, and on that last day, he saw the Sanskrit, symbols that turned into the Reiki symbols, which we'll see and talk about, and that's when it was born. He actually trained multiple people. The next person that he trained was Dr. Hayashi, who also taught Reiki masters, really credited with really documenting and refining Reiki, and kind of putting that into practice. He changed the attunement process, but was really like did more work for standardizing and getting that in a place where more people could consume it. And then Miss Tataka she came to Japan and was treated in the center that Dr. Sui and Dr. Hayashi had. She is really the one that's credited with bringing Reiki to the United States. She ended up training 22 Reiki masters. And so if you're getting Reiki from someone, especially in the US, most likely their lineage will trace back to her. But you can see that the modality has only been around for about 100 years. So that specific modality is only about 100 years old, but the concept of laying hands and energy and chakras is thousands of years old. Like almost every religion has some form of laying hands to heal people. So what is a session like? So they're usually 45 to 60 minutes. Non-invasive, light touch or hovering. It really depends on what the client. The hand positions in general correspond to chakra points, but most practitioners will freestyle and go wherever they're called to go, wherever they're feeling like they need to send energy. But the idea is energy flows where it needs to. You could theoretically sit in one place and receive the same benefit, but this is also kind of a healing process between both people. So moving around kind of gives the client and the receiver kind of some other things to think about as you move around. And then at the conclusion, at least for my sessions, we do grounding. So we've had energy flowing, and we'll just kind of imagine that energy then going into the earth and grounding that energy to the earth. So, and then a lot of people I also do distance Reiki, and the mojo for how that works is that Hashazi Shonen symbol. It's the distance Reiki symbol, which allows you to make connections over distance, but also across time and space. And what you learn when you study Reiki is that you can also heal past lives or even future lives if you knew you had an issue. But historically, it's issues in the past that you want to heal. And when you can heal an issue in the past, it fixes you in the present. Hard to say why it works, but it does. Like I said, after hundreds of sessions, I'm a firm believer in the ability to connect over thousands of miles with someone, and then both the client and I feeling some things going on, feeling the energy movement, having similar feelings, similar insights. There's 3 main Reiki levels in Usui Reiki. There's actually many Reiki modalities, but the one we're speaking about today is Usui Reiki. You have first degree, which is basically self Reiki. It's open to anyone. It's about opening physical channels, allowing that energy to flow again through your body, down to the heart, through the hands. And so basically self Reiki, again, for the most part, following the chakra points. The second level that you get trained and attuned to is Reiki for others. This is like anybody that's had a Reiki session, that's what you're getting is Reiki level 2. You learn a few more hand symbols, Reiki symbols. especially the time and space one and the distance Reiki. And then the third level is Reiki Master. Sometimes they're broken up. Generally, there is a requirement to do X number of sessions before you become a Reiki Master. But at that point, you're considered able to attune others, and you're a teacher, and you're able to attune. Basically, yeah, you're able to attune new Reiki practitioners. So it demonstrates that you have a level of mastery and that you have the ability to teach and attune others. So if you're not a Reiki Master, most of the time you should not be teaching Reiki classes or tuning other people. So what are some of the benefits? Increased energy levels, personal growth and development, mental clarity. I've had a lot of people who have anxiety, and at least for a little while after the Reiki session, their anxiety has lessened as a result of the energy work. But spiritual development, reduction of stress, but really it gets into that energy piece and that clearing and balancing of chakras. As a hacker, I want to know how the science of things and how things like that work. It's kind of related to acupuncture and the energy meridians of the body. That's been around again for hundreds to thousands of years. Very common, pretty well accepted as a form of medicine in a lot of places. It's also, like as I mentioned a couple of times, it ties back to the energy centers, and those energy centers tie back to organs in the body. So you can see for like the third eye, that maps to the pituitary gland, for the heart, thymus, for solar plexus, adrenals. So they do have mappings. The main chakras do have mappings to organs and parts of the body. And then to kind of continue on that path, this is the one on the slide on the left, or the pitch on the left, is from Dr. Joe Dispenza. Talks about where energy gets stuck. And so you can kind of start to see, again, if we map the organs of the body to those energy centers, and then we start to say, okay, where do we store that trauma? We can start to say what we're dealing with when we're doing Reiki, and what we can try to work on in a healing sense. So, when we're working on the root chakra, we're working on sexual depravity, sexual addiction, trauma from molestation, confusion. And it doesn't have to all be sexual things. It can also just be sense of belonging, sense of safety in your body. All those sorts of issues get stored in the root chakra. And so when you're doing energy work and healing work and those things at that area, that's what we're focusing on. So has it been proven? It has not. There have been lots of studies. None of them have been conclusive about whether it works or not. So my personal feeling on anything when you lack evidence is repeated experiences. And so I tell people, don't believe in Reiki, go have a session and see if you felt something, and then have another, and then go learn it. And then when you become a practitioner and you've done it, you now have repeated experience. And a lot of times repeated experiences trump any evidence. Throughout history, we've had things that science weren't able to measure that we came later, we were able to actually measure those things. So I think we will in time be able to measure consciousness and measure energy. We're just not there yet. But I would also say for like number two, I volunteered and did Reiki in hospitals and in hospice. There's about 800 hospitals in the US that have some sort of Reiki program. There is at least some perceived benefit coming from that, or these institutions wouldn't be doing it. So again, I always encourage people to, see for themselves through their own experience. Don't believe me, go experience it for yourself, and then you can go from there. Because if it's real for you, it's real. But I always wonder, like, what is it? All that other stuff you can get in a book, or you can get online. There's a million of these videos, but what is it really? So for me, Reiki is all about energy. And so there's this famous Nikola Tesla quote of, like, if you want to find the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And so for me, what I love about Reiki and what I think is we've lost our connection to the divine. I say the universe, but people can use whatever word they like, God, source, whatever. We've lost that we know that everything is energy and everything is emotion, and we've lost that understanding and acknowledgement that everything is interconnected. And so that's the law of one. And I'd like to think that Reiki gets people a gentle introduction into energy and that the fact is everything is energy and that you can feel that, and the interconnectedness. So if you can actually have that distance Reiki session and you and I have a shared experience over thousands of miles, that is ideally unlocking for people that we are connected, that there is something that connects us across time and space. And that's really like the aha moment. And if you can come to believe that we are all connected and that connection can be felt across distance, that's how psychic abilities work, mediumship works, all the plethora of like other more in-depth metaphysics and spiritual topics, all that begins to work when you start to understand energy. So this is a nice, gentle, easy introduction to that. And I think I have a clip from TikTok, but it's a Dolores Cannon clip that talks about why we care about energy, and hopefully the sound works.
You're really a very powerful being, but you don't realize when you come to Earth, you forget all of that. And we have access to this part all the time, but we ignore it. All the information I've written about, it comes through my clients. It doesn't come through me. One of the main lessons you come to Earth to learn is how to manipulate energy. Everything is energy. And you come to Earth to learn how to manipulate that, to be a master manifester. So once you learn how to manipulate energy, you can have anything you want. Nothing is impossible. There are no limitations except the limitations you put upon yourself. You're really a very powerful.
I love that clip because that really does sum up why we want to learn energy. And again, if we can start to feel it, we're like, oh, there's energy happening. I want to know more. I can do more. And that's also, again, how law of attraction works and many, many other things. It's all energy and all understanding that. And this is such a gentle introduction to that. Another screenshot is like, this is from Joe Dispenza. The process of synchronizing with your energy to a potential is the process by which we create new things in our life. So that's basically the same as what Dolores Cannon had just said, was if you can manipulate energy, you can start to have all the things that you want in life. And Joe Dispenza really has a whole series on how that works at a quantum physics level. And if anyone's interested in that, I highly recommend watching that. But so healing, I've said healing a few times. What is actually happening when you heal somebody? So what I feel happens, what my experience is, the practitioner is giving off a frequency vibration of healing. And then the client has to allow and intend to match that frequency. And when they do, they experience, a feeling of relief for a period of time of whatever healing needed to be done there, whether that be in a chakra, emotional issue, a headache, anxiety, whatever, because everything is energy and everything is vibration. When a client just chooses to match that healing vibration by allowance, then they can get some relief for that. And so you'll hear a lot of times practitioners say, you're actually healing yourself, is because you are allowing yourself to match that vibration and moving your vibration to that healed state. So in general, Reiki is not a one and done thing. I have had people who have had issues shift and move during a session, but what I like to say is, like, for me, I had 40 years of trauma to get into the damage into the spot where I'm at. It's going to generally take more than a 45-minute session to undo all of that work, but we can get things moving. We start to unlock all that secrets. We start to unlock energy. We start to understand our power as the infinite beings that we are in these bodies. Again, the practitioner is the guide. They're the signal generator. The client does the work. They do the allowance. And I really serve as permission slip and an anchor for them to raise their vibration during the sessions. That's basically it. If anyone's interested, these are basically the best two places to get a hold of me, is Instagram, the Sky Beckons, or TikTok, the Sky Beckons. And for everyone that's like watching live and everyone else, that's the conclusion of this. I'm going to stop the sharing and stop the streaming. And thank you for watching.